When the war finally ended, no one expected me to survive long enough to be rewarded. I was a human, Captain Rian Holt, Terran Coalition, captured during the siege of Velrix Prime and dragged through months of interrogation, combat trials, and public humiliation. The Jaran Empire had conquered dozens of species, and humans were simply their newest curiosity. Yet somehow, against every probability, I had helped end the war. Not with brute force, not with superior weapons, but by exposing a conspiracy inside the Empire, one that would have shattered the Queen's throne from within. I gave her proof, names, evidence, a way to stop a civil collapse. And the alien Queen Valorix, the Eternal, never forgot a debt. So when I was summoned before the Obsidian Throne, surrounded by nobles whose eyes burned with hatred and fear, I knew something extraordinary was coming. Human, the Queen said, her voice echoing like distant thunder. You have served the Empire in a way no weapon ever could. The entire court went silent. As reward, she continued, I grant you a choice. Any bride within my dominion, royal or common, warrior or scholar. Choose, and she shall be yours. A murmur rippled through the chamber. Any bride. It was an honor unheard of, especially for a human. And I already knew who I would choose. Beginning, the one name that froze the court. I stepped forward, chains removed, but eyes still upon me like knives. I choose Xerath of the Black Hollow, I said. The chamber didn't murmur. It shattered. Nobles recoiled. Guards stiffened. Some hissed prayers. Others laughed nervously, convinced it was a joke. The Queen's eyes narrowed. You understand who you've named, she said slowly. Xerath, the most feared woman in the Empire. A living legend whispered about in war academies and forbidden archives. A general who had never lost a battle. A strategist who annihilated entire fleets without mercy. They said she didn't sleep, that she spoke only when death followed. They also said she had been removed from court, not imprisoned, not executed, exiled. I understand, I replied. You could have chosen safety, Valorix said. Power, a peaceful life. I didn't come this far for peace, I said honestly. For the first time, the Queen smiled. So be it, she declared. Summon Xerath. The guards hesitated, then obeyed. Meeting the monster. Xerath arrived in silence. No armor, no weapons, just a tall, ash-skinned woman with glowing crimson eyes and long black hair braided in the old warrior style. The temperature in the room seemed to drop when she stepped forward. She looked at me, not with curiosity, with calculation. So, she said calmly, the human wants the monster. I want the truth, I replied. Her eyes flickered. The court watched like spectators at an execution. The Queen leaned back. You will marry under the rite of binding, she said. You will share residence. Thought. Fate. That caused Xerath to react. She turned sharply. That law was never meant for outsiders. It applies to all, Valorix said. Unless you refuse. Xeratha's jaw tightened. She looked at me again, closer this time. Do you know what they say about me, human? I've heard, I said. They say I break minds. I've survived worse. A faint, dangerous smile crossed her face. Then you are either brave, she said, or suicidal. Probably both. The fear wasn't what they thought. Living with Xerath was nothing like the rumors. She didn't rage. She didn't torture. She didn't scheme. She studied, watched, listened. Through the binding, I felt fragments of her past, battlefields soaked in fire, orders she never questioned, worlds she erased because hesitation meant annihilation. She wasn't cruel. She was conditioned. I was made into fear, she admitted one night, staring at the stars beyond our chamber. They needed a monster to keep the Empire obedient. Why didn't you rebel? I asked. She laughed bitterly. Against an empire that built me from childhood? I didn't know who I was without war. The truth struck me harder than any weapon. Xerath wasn't feared because she enjoyed destruction. She was feared because she was too effective. And the Queen knew it. A political trap revealed. Weeks into the union, the court began to panic. My marriage wasn't a reward. It was a test. By binding Xerath to a human, the Queen was dismantling the old power structure. Nobles who relied on Xerath's legend lost their leverage. Military factions fractured. And worse, Xerath herself began to change. She questioned orders. She hesitated. She started advocating restraint. That terrified them. One night, an assassination attempt came for both of us. Xerath killed 3 attackers before I even reached for a weapon. But she was shaking. They're afraid, she whispered. Not of me. Of what you're becoming, I finished. A choice maker. The Queen's true intent. When we confronted Queen Valerix, she didn't deny it. I offered you any bride because I needed someone untouched by our lies, she said. Someone who would see Xerath as more than a weapon. You used us, Xerath said coldly. I freed you, the Queen replied. Through him. Silence followed. Then Xerath turned to me. You knew, she said. I suspected, I admitted. But I also knew this was the only way you'd ever be allowed to stop fighting. She searched my face. Why choose me? She asked quietly. I answered without hesitation. Because the galaxy doesn't need to fear you anymore. Ending. The bride everyone feared became the one who changed everything. The Empire changed. Slowly. Painfully. But it changed. Xerath stepped down from command and rebuilt the military doctrine around defense instead of conquest. Worlds previously crushed were rebuilt under treaty. Fear gave way to stability. And the nobles? They never stopped whispering. They said the human had tamed the monster. They were wrong. The monster had never existed. Years later, standing beside Xerath as equal partners, no chains, no throne between us, I realized the mistake wasn't choosing her. The mistake was believing fear defined strength. The alien queen offered me any bride. I chose the one everyone feared. And the galaxy survived because of it.